What is up, Nickel City Mafia? The Buffalo Bills lose to the Bengals again. Who are these Bills, Jake? I don't know. Who are these Bills? If people are saying the Dolphins can't beat good teams, then you have to say the same thing about the Bills. Who have we really beaten other than the Dolphins? You have extra time to rest and scheme against the Bengals, and you come out of the gate and you look great on that first drive. I mean, we knew we were going to have to score against the Bengals, right? And you score on that first drive. You're like, okay, we got the Frazier Ali matchup going on and slugfest. Then the Bengals come back, they score again, and then Josh throws an interception on the following drive, and then things just went to hell. I mean, we're 21-7 at halftime. We're then chasing the Bengals, similar to what we've been doing for the past few weeks, or the games that we've been losing. Is like you're chasing, and when you're chasing, it's never a good thing. We lose the turnover battle 2-0. And I said in our pregame show, Jake, you got to win that turnover battle. Now, thankfully, the defense held the Bengals without a touchdown or without any points after the Josh Allen interception. But then you had the Dalton Kincaid fumble, and the guy had a good game, really good game. I don't put that on him. That was just a nice play by the defender, kind of a lucky punch, I just want to say. But Jake, let me throw it to you, man, because I am disturbed. And
this team's broken.
Where do you want to start, buddy?
This team is totally broken. We have no identity on offense. Things get going, things go well, and then the balloon inflates, and something happens where it's like taking a dart and you throw it at the balloon and it just pops. I've never seen anything like it. I mean, this team has not at all risen to the occasion since that Miami game. I mean, ever since then, it's almost like this offense peaked then and has left. I don't know. I think they just left their bags back in Buffalo, and they never brought them back out. They never brought their bag of tricks back out. They never brought the only consistent pieces of this offense, have just been Steph Diggs, and when Dalton Kincaid gets going, Dalton Kincaid. And yeah, I mean, he's trying to make a play. He's diving forward. And honestly, it's a hell of a job by Jermaine Pratt, situational awareness, being out there and punching the ball as this guy's in midair. I mean, that's, like, if you're going to try to put the whole game on Dalton Kincaid for that fumble, you're out of your freaking mind. I mean, there were so many other opportunities for this offense to get going. I mean, you have 10 points going into the fourth quarter here. And it seemed like, while the offense couldn't get going, the defense actually started to pick it up, and they gave them so many opportunities, Mike. And again, it's just like no identity, and they would get something going, and the drive would just stall out, and I can't figure it out. I can't pinpoint it. And I'm just like, I'm so distraught. And I know the team's 5-4, like on paper, and we're not mathematically out of it or anything like that. But if this is the football that we're going to continue to play, let's just mail it in for the rest of the year. I mean, it's awful. I don't put this on the defense either, by the way. They allowed 21 points in the first half. They only allowed 3 points in the second half. Your offense, it can't go out there and score a couple touchdowns. I mean, are you kidding me? What happened to that first drive? We put together such a great drive. What happened after that? I'm just so distraught and so upset. And I'm like always the optimist, right? But it just feels hard to be optimistic right now.
Yeah, no, I totally agree. I mean, I'll tell you what happened. I mean, we got the ball back, and Josh threw the interception. It was a terrible throw, and big momentum shift. And from that point on, it was just, the rest of the half. Josh had, I mean, I was looking at his stats. I think he had some 50-ish QBR rating, like just absolutely horrible. And I don't know, man. I mean, who do you put the blame on? I mean, obviously, you got to blame the coaching staff. I feel like, here's what I feel like. Lou Anarumo, right? The guy makes adjustments. He made adjustments. He saw what we did coming out of the gate. We were able to go right down just like they did on their first drive. We score. Their defensive coordinator makes some nice adjustments, picks off Josh, and then I mean, dude, even going into the third quarter, we get the ball. We're only able to go down. And we were 21-7. You're like, okay, we get a score here. We get a touchdown here. It's a one-score game. Now we go and we get some points. We get a field goal. But dude, I just don't know. It just feels like we're out coached in these big games. And I'm gonna say it again. Who have we, if you're gonna say the Dolphins, because that's been the big thing. Dolphins can't beat a good team this year. We haven't beat a good team. If you're saying the Dolphins aren't a good team, we have not beat a good team. And every time we play these big games, this happens. And
it's been horrendous on primetime too, by the way. I mean, they have not showed up at all.
How many times have we gone late night here and it just haven't been able to celebrate.
Season. Yeah.
Unbelievable here. Let's see here. And then another great day for Jets fans. Jim Page says,
Yeah, I mean, shoot, the Patriots lose, the Dolphins lose, and the Bills lose, and then tomorrow night you're playing the Chargers, which I think is it's a winnable game for the Jets.
Yeah.
The Jets, I mean, they could go 5-3 as of tomorrow. It's crazy.
Yeah, I mean, like you said, you didn't put this on the defense. I mean, look, we're missing 6 starters. We had more injuries tonight, and our offense, somehow, some way has been healthy pretty much all year. That line's been intact. I mean, Josh has got a little bit of a shoulder thing going on, but come on, dude. Seriously, how can this continue to happen? And I don't know, Jay. I mean, we're pretty optimistic, you and I, but at this point in time, I don't even know if we get in as a wild card. Yes, we can still battle for our division. We're not out of that because we still play the Dolphins. We still play the Jets. So you have some control, but we also play the Chiefs. And then after our bye, we got to come back and play, the Eagles. We play the Cowboys. And then I think we finish. And then we have the Chargers Jets again. We have the Chargers. And don't sleep on the Chargers. They can put up a lot of points.
Yep.
We'll see them. I think they play tomorrow, right? They're the ones who play the Jets tomorrow.
Yeah. That's right.
They're a playoff contending team as well. They're going to be looking for a wild card spot. So there's no guarantees. I mean, I said earlier in the year, if we weren't 7-3, come talk to me. Well, now you can come talk to me because we're not going to be 7-3. I would push the panic button, but I'm going to push this button here because I think this celebrity texted me at the end of the game, and he said, this is for Jake. So listen to this. The Rock says this, Jake. The Buffalo Bills went into Cincinnati and got their candy asses handed to them once again. Buffalo Bills went into Cincinnati and got their candy asses handed to them. Yes, that's about as much you're ever going to hear me swear. Whooped us again. And you can say the game was it's similar to what we did, what the Buccaneers did last Thursday night. It felt like we were in total
same
control.
Score. Yeah, same score, just reversed.
And I'm sure the Bengal fans will say we're going to control that game. And sure enough, I mean, when we needed to stop at the very end, we couldn't get it. Von Miller, one-on-one with Mixon. I can't put that on him. I mean, if you're going one-on-one with a running back, a good running back,
I
don't know.
It's just 50-50. Like outside contain, though. That's the thing. He had a terrible angle to begin, and I think. I don't know. And I don't put the whole game on him either. Again, it's just, you can't put this on the defense. No. It shouldn't have come down to that, Mike. That's the problem. It's like
complimentary football, man. It's
and there's been simple. None of that. Yeah.
And then, as of right now, so you saw the stat on the broadcast tonight. So they're using AI. They're like, okay, if the Bills lose, they have a 40% chance of making the playoffs. It's not good. It's not good at all. And I think if we had won, we had jumped up to like 67% chance of making the playoffs. And the Bengals also, big win for them. I mean, their whole division, they're still not near the bottom. I think they caught up, but that whole division's winning games. So that's a tough division that they're in as well. So it's just, what do we got? Wump Donkey changing to be made immediately. Like tomorrow, schedule is tough going forward. Bills might be done here, guys. You saw what the Raiders did, right? They fire their head coach, and look what they did. They come out and look like.
Do you fire Sean McDermott though? You can't. I don't think.
I'm not saying the coach, but you fired Dort. I don't know. I mean, you at this point in time, you're now officially halfway. You're over halfway through the season. You're 5-4. Jake, this is a game earlier in the year when we did our schedule predictions. We did predict us to lose.
Yeah.
However, had no clue we were going to lose to the freaking Patriots. And you keep seeing the Patriots lose week after week, and you're saying to yourself, how do we lose that game? I mean,
it's crazy.
At best right now, we're a slightly above average team. I mean, we're 5-4, so we're above average. There's nothing, I would say there's nothing elite about us right now. You cannot put us in the elite category.
No.
Can't.
It sucks because we show signs of brilliance. Josh still shows signs of brilliance. But man, like, I don't know.
There's nothing worse to wait in the Sunday Night Football. I feel bad for the East Coast folks like yourself. You're staying up late. You're excited.
I'm in shambles.
And this continues to happen to us. Continues. Man. Yeah. Where's everybody?
The offense gets going, and then a dart gets thrown at their balloon, and it just pops. And then nothing for like 5 consecutive drives. I think there was a stat. Actually, I read it. I think my cousin tweeted it out or something, or someone tweeted it out. And it was like the defense at one point, it was like 4 of the last 5 possessions they had, held the Bengals in check without scoring. And then the Bills on their last 6 possessions had only mustered 3 total points or something like that. This was during the game. And when you see stats like that, that is a severe issue. That is awful. Awful. Yeah, I mean, this is supposed to be the good part of our team. Like, the defense is the banged up portion of our team. That's I would understand if the defense was letting up 40 points a game or whatever, and the offense was still scoring 30 to 40. Okay. But the offense, where are they? They have no identity, Mike. None.
Yeah, let me go through the drives here. So of course the Bengals come out with a 9-play, 76-yard drive, score a touchdown. Bills come right back, fire back, 7 plays, 85 yards, touchdown. Then the Bengals, big 11 play, 69-yard touchdown. Here's where things go rough. Buffalo, 4 plays, punt. We then hold the Bengals to 6 plays, and they punt. And then Josh throws that interception. So it wasn't on the second drive of the game. It was on the third drive for the Bills. Josh throws that. Now, again, the Bills defense holds, and they don't give up a score on that. Yeah. Not a field goal, not a touchdown. So 3 plays later, the Bengals have to punt. Bills, 3 plays, punt. Bengals, 7 plays, touchdown. And then the Bills, 5 plays, 28 yards and a half. And I don't know about you. I do think, Chris Collinsworth, I think, nailed it. That call that it was intentional grounding to me. Whether that's the rule or not, again, I'm not going to blame the refs, but that was a strange one, right? Josh is trying to throw to Gabe. Gabe does not go deep. He actually cuts it out to the left and overthrows him. I mean, that happens, right? You just kind of, you miscommunication between you and your receiver, but we don't even get a field goal opportunity at that point. Just sickening. And then you come out. So that's the first half. Then you come out, you go 11 plays. Things are looking good, but you have to settle for a field goal. Defense holds strong again. 7 plays for the Bengals, and they have to punt. But here come the Bills. 3 plays, punt. And then you have the Bengals again. Listen to this defense. 6 plays. They hold them on downs. So we get the ball back again. We go on a nice drive. 9 plays, 52 yards. Looks like we're about to go in there and finally get a touchdown, much needed touchdown, which would have put it at 21-17. And Dalton Kincaid, he gets knocked in the air, and just a great, like you said, play by the defensive player. Then the Bengals come back with a 12-play, 85-yard drive. They get a field goal. Then the Bills go down and finally get that touchdown, 12 plays, 75-yard. But by that time, dude, there's very little time left in the game. And then the Bengals get it back, and they never relinquish the ball again. They go on a 7-play, 41-yard, and they made a couple big third downs in that play. That big throw, I think it was it to Higgins on that third down play?
Yeah,
and
on the slant.
Dude, their tight ends haven't really been utilized much, but today they abused us. So again, to me, that's just coaching, scheming things up. Like, all right, we see what the Bills have been running lately, dime defense. Here's what we're going to do to combat that. And it worked to perfection.
Yeah.
I mean, our safeties were just getting abused with those tight ends. And that, and it felt like the Bills, I don't know, Jake, were you surprised? It seemed like we had to bring the house all the time. Like we had to bring more than 4.
We did.
And,
Yeah.
and for a while it was okay. It was working. And then the Bengals are going to make an adjustment. They put the tight end in the backfield. I think they had the running back there on the left. I don't know. Everybody comes in, tight end slips out, big play for a touchdown.
And I'll say this. So going back to like the tight end thing too, I understand making them beat you with other players other than Jamar Chase, because we knew Jamar Chase, like that's the guy, right? He's their premier receiver, And I thought we actually did a very nice job against him. He almost came down with a few insane catches today.
Yeah.
A couple tough drops. They would have been really hard catches for him to make. So, did a good job with, I guess, neutralizing him. But then other guys stepped up, and we had T. Higgins just absolutely destroying us. And then it's always like a lot of firsts against the Bills. It's like, oh, these tight ends, they've caught 12 passes all year or whatever it was. And today they caught 7 for 74 and a touchdown. So it is so frustrating because I understand the game plan is like, hey, have other players beat you. We're not going to let Jamar Chase beat us. And I'm okay living with that. But it's the fact of the matter that these other players that are stepping up should not be stepping up because they've been neutralized in other games and they've never performed on a great stage or done as well as they have against us in this particular game. It just doesn't make sense to me. I don't know. And really, we didn't end up running any dime defense until Terrell Bernard came out of the game. So, it seemed to be like, it worked really well last week. And this week, I don't know. I think the adjustments were good, actually, defensively. I thought the Bills did a tremendous job with that. I think, Sean McDermott called a pretty good defensive game today. Situationally, again, what an idiot throw of the challenge flag when it didn't matter at all.
Oh, my God.
Again, maybe the worst situational football coach I've ever seen in my entire life. I don't get it. I don't get it whatsoever. Just beyond frustrated about that whole thing. But
at best,
I don't
that's
know.
a 50-50 call. And you just cannot throw away. I mean,
awful.
It's got to be clear evidence to overturn it. And you throw that. And I don't know what you're thinking. I mean, because the Bills
for a 9-yard catch.
Yeah.
Ridiculous.
By the way, Jake, those tight ends caught 10 passes against us.
10.
3 of them. Tanner Hudson had 4 for 45. Drew Sample had 3 for 30 and a touchdown. Irv Smith had 3 for 26 and a touchdown. So, like you said, they had 4 all year. I don't know how many receptions in total, but it certainly wasn't 10. It was under 10 for the whole season, and they come out and they throw their tight ends in the scheme, and then of course it loosens things up, and then T. Higgins gets going, and he goes off for 8 for 110. Boyd 3 for 56, and Jamar Chase 4 for 41. Like you said, could have been a big game. There were a couple of long plays that he almost made. Dane Jackson had a decent game. I mean, Dane Jackson was at one point the star of the game, but you're gonna give up big plays to stars like those 3-headed monsters that we were very familiar with. But you just cannot expect your defense to keep doing this, especially when we lose Micah Hyde again. Terrell Bernard goes out with a concussion. Don't know how long he's going to be out. And Micah Hyde, who knows? I hope he's okay. But he got dinged up a couple times in that game. And finally it was like, no, man, can't bring you in anymore. We got to keep you out here, get you recovered. I don't know. It's just, let me see here. What's Womp Donkey saying, sir?
I think he words this very well.
I think we respect other team cornerback way too much, and teams come in and don't respect ours. Also, run the football for the love of God, please. I mean, the running game.
I don't know about that last part. I don't know.
Yeah. Well,
yes and no. I loved, actually, to be honest with you, again, our most effective runner is Josh Allen. Like what he did running the football today was magnificent, and you'd love to see more of that, but he's banged up and you can't keep doing that, but at certain times, it does change the landscape of the game and it makes the defense respect that a little bit more. And I would have liked to see some more of it, but I don't know.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
Allen was 8 for 44 with a touchdown. He was our leading rusher again. James Cook
Yeah.
6 for 20 and Latavius Murray 2 for 4. And Joe Burrow, it feels like if you look at the stat, you're thinking Joe Burrow rushed for like 30 plus. He was only 5 for 4, but he was scrambling and he would
Yeah.
get rid of the ball. I'm like, oh my God,
Made
he's
us
doing
pay.
his best Josh Allen impression. It was impressive. I haven't seen Burrow move like that before.
Yeah.
But yeah, he was avoiding, we were getting pressure, but then he'd escape and make a play. It's that simple. He threw for 348 yards, 2
Yeah.
touchdowns,
He had
dude.
himself a day. Yeah.
My God. We
Yeah.
got smoked by, let's see here. Let me see. Wumpdonkey. First half, 8:45 on offense and D play 21. You can't win football like that ever. Totally
Agreed.
agree.
Yep.
You
Yep.
can't keep playing catch up football, not with elite teams like the Bengals. And then, we got smoked by no name tight ends who were awful. Yeah, it's 10 receptions.
Yeah.
Blitzing was a no, and we did it anyway. Yeah.
Yeah, it got us in trouble at times. It definitely did. I still think like the adjustments and how they tightened up was very impressive to me. I gotta say, like, we're playing with, I mean, Josh Norman was out there on the last play of the game. Like, he's 35 years old as a corner and he's only been playing special teams. And it's like, God, you look at this defense, they are in shambles. Like, they are banged up right now. And they've been kind of like the bright spot throughout this whole offensive drought period that we've had. I mean, I don't know. It's very bizarre to me. It's such a weird season. It's been a roller coaster, and God, I don't know. I'm at a loss for words, right? I'm really struggling to find the words to even explain how I feel right now. It's very
feel like
tough.
crap, man. I feel like crap. This team just continues to disappoint us this year. Rasul Douglas got out on the field. I was happy to see that. He had two tackles. I know he gave up a few plays, but he was right there. Coverage was tight.
He's right there.
And then it was interesting. I kind of thought he might, but Linville Joseph was playing.
I loved it.
He made a huge play on that. Was it 3rd and 1 where he stuffed Burrow, kind of threw him back.
Yeah, he picked him up. That was pretty impressive.
This is a big dude who's been sitting on his couch. Obviously, he's not been sitting on his couch, been keeping somewhat in shape, and here he is.
Yeah.
He gets play time, and I don't know how many snaps he got. It'll be interesting to see. My goodness, man. The offensive line. How'd you think the O-line did for the Bills tonight?
I thought the interior got beat up a little bit. Like BJ Hill had his way a little bit. I think Spencer Brown had a tough day. He got turned around a couple times. I don't think the offensive line played awful though. I don't know. Like I still think Josh had a lot of time. He held onto the football for a while, and
too long.
I don't know if it was a matter of the receivers not getting open or if it was just him like looking for something that wasn't there. I'm not sure. I don't know. I can't really put a finger to it. It doesn't make sense to me, Mike. I'm so perplexed right now, and I don't know who to blame.
Where the hell was Gabe Davis? Where the hell was Gabe Davis?
Invisible.
He had 2 targets.
Yeah.
Where the hell was he? I mean, Khalil Shakir is out there again. 4 catches for 57 yards. Is he the number 2 guy now? Seems to be. I guess so. He seems to be like somewhat of a safe blanket, actually, which is great to see. Yeah.
Because I think this is what we wanted. This is sort of what we expected from Khalil Shakir. So that's encouraging, I guess, if you could take a positive away from this. And obviously, Dalton Kincaid was fantastic outside of the fumble. Steph Diggs, again, it's weird, though, because he'll start off real hot, right? And we'll get him the ball, like, on multiple plays over and over and over again. And then he'll, like, disappear for a couple quarters. And then they'll, like, come back into the swing of things. And it doesn't make sense to me, like, how we kind of, like, I don't know if it's Josh or if it's Ken Dorsey, but it's like we implement him into the game plan and then he, like, is taken away from the game a little bit. I'm not sure if he's getting blanketed with coverage or what it is, but it's very bizarre how that works too. I mean, there's ebbs and flows, but
it was weird how it was great how they were using them last week. They were giving them more higher percentage passes. Gabe Davis, that is, getting it to him shorter. I mean, usually Gabe is big game Gabe, where they're throwing it to him deeper. That throw to Gabe by Josh was just a bad throw. I mean, that one in the end zone. I mean, how can you you got to put some air under that ball, some air. And, he had 2 targets, Gabe Davis, that was, and nothing. nothing on the stat sheet. And 100% says Wump Donkey. I'm always screaming, come on, D. Defense has been a real bright spot. They give us a chance to win always, even though they're banged up real bad. Real bad.
Yeah.
Exactly. I mean,
they're still doing enough. The offense just has to
yes.
come through.
And
Yeah.
again, I agree. The O-line, look, you're going against some good players on the Bengals,
Yeah.
and sometimes they're going to beat you. But for the most part, I thought they did a great job. I thought Deion
Deion
Dawkins
Dawkins did a
was
really nice job tonight.
I mean, that one play, and that was another thing. So that on that play where, I don't know if it was a third down, whatever, but Hendrickson, like Dawkins blocks him nicely, gets him away. Josh decides to run, kind of just doesn't even like, what was it?
Yeah, you gotta
Hendrickson just gonna, he's out of the picture now. No, he comes back. The guy's never going to give up on a play. Yeah. And he gets to him. I think it was a short gain, so they didn't count it as a sack. The only one who got credited with a sack tonight was BJ Hill for the Bengals, and for the Bills, it was split between Leonard Floyd and Jordan Phillips. And I got to ask you, I don't know, Rousseau. Where's Rousseau these days? He seems so damn quiet. I don't know what's going on with him.
He had a nice play at the end on the pass deflection, but otherwise.
Yeah, I mean, he got his finger on that. Yeah.
Not much. Yeah.
Right. It's just quiet. And it seemed like, again, they were able to run the ball when they needed to. A lot of short stuff. They schemed. And again, you're right, Womp Donkey. They kept us in the game. The defense kept us in the game. They did enough. 24-18. They need enough stops. But if your offense is going to play like crap, you're going to lose 100% of the time.
Yeah.
So, oh, man. All right. So,
what did you think of the play calling, Mike? I want to ask you, how did you feel about the play calling today? Were you satisfied with it? Do you put this more on Josh and I guess the offense as a whole for not executing, like the players themselves? Or do you put this on how they schemed up this game and the play calling?
I gotta say, normally I'd say I think it's on both, but I didn't like the way they schemed it up. I mean, we started running the ball, like we're trying to run the ball, and we know we can't run the ball. Hell, we ran the ball. What did we run it for? 16 times for 68 yards, and 44 to that with Josh Allen. So we're going into these first down, we run it. Okay, second down, we run it. There's a couple drives where I didn't like that. I mean, we always want Dalton. We've been saying, let's get Dalton these number of targets. So great. Dalton Kincaid had a fantastic game. You can't put that. He had one drop. He had 11 targets, caught 10 of them, and he did have that one drop early on in the game, which all drops are important. But my God,
the fumble hurt. I mean, the fumble hurt for
but
sure.
You can't put that on him. I mean, I don't know. He could have went down, but he was trying to dive. Somebody hits him in the thigh, he flipping. And then was it Pratt who hit the ball out of him? Punched it?
Yeah.
And I don't know if he really punched it. I mean, he just got lucky. I think his hand, I don't know if it wasn't like, I didn't see him like focus target in on that.
He had the ball. It looked like somewhat secure, it just,
well,
when you're in the air, that's hard to, I don't know.
Yeah. And he's about to brace. He's about to brace because he's going to hit the ground.
Yeah.
And hopefully avoid any type of injury. But, the play calling, I don't know. I'll say I'm gonna say it's bad. First of all, I just don't think we make enough adjustments. I saw them make adjustments. They seem to make adjustments. Like I said, when we were bringing all the pressure, they finally put two big guys in the backfield, slipped the tight end out, touchdown. Yeah. And I don't see us ever do those type of things. What'd you think of it?
Not enough pre-snap motion. I wasn't you saw what happened with Steph Diggs on the bubble screen that he ran. It was fantastic. I mean, a little motion, and then, they get him in motion. Obviously, it's eye candy, but tremendous job by him to get some yak. I think, and the thing is, it's crazy because it's like the trick plays that we do run, they always seem to go nowhere, and they're covered. So, the one play, Josh just threw it, just a deep ball out of bounds. You get excited for a second, and then it's like, oh, this is nothing. It's frustrating, I mean, you want to see those plays work, and I don't know. It's like 2 steps forward and 10 backwards, it seems like, with this offense, and I can't figure out why. I don't know what it is. I've defended Ken Dorsey. I don't think he's perfect. I think sometimes it does come down to just executing and Josh not making stupid decisions. Like that throw, the interception, that's all on him. That's not
Yeah.
Ken Dorsey. You know what I mean? Like that's just Josh
Yep.
making a terrible decision. But then there are other times where it's like, man, like you got to give him some help though too. And maybe you could scheme this up a little bit better, and maybe you could do like some more pre-snap motion, and maybe you can, I don't know, like you run 5 wide, and I don't know. I don't know. I don't know.
It's a little bit
I
of
don't know.
both. It's
Been
like you
saying that the
said,
whole show.
the interception is all Josh Allen. He double pumped. Should never have thrown that. It's like it didn't even look wide. I mean, it didn't look open. It was never open,
Yeah.
and he threw the ball
Yeah.
anyway. The throw to Gabe Davis in the end zone just throws a rocket. Like, who's going to catch that ball? No one's going to catch that ball.
Mhm. I agree with what Sean says here. We never have urgency. I mean, even
Yeah.
we're down by 2 scores. It's like we're out there, and how much clock do we kill on that? I mean, that's okay if you're in the first quarter and you're not down by 2 scores. Like that actually, it's really a way to take a commanding lead, having these longer drives. But the problem is you can't do that when you're playing from behind. And it seems like we've just been playing from behind the last 4 weeks now. It's crazy.
Yeah, that gadget play. I wish Jessica was on. Maybe she'll see this afterwards on the rewatch, but she's been calling for a trick play.
Yeah.
I want to see a trick play. Well, that was their trick play. And
it was pretty sad.
It wasn't very good at all. Fooled nobody at all.
Yeah.
And again, I mean, maybe it fooled someone. Maybe it's just a pass throw by Josh. It wasn't even in the.
It was pretty covered though.
Oh,
yeah,
maybe we don't
From
know
what I
until
saw.
you can kind of see better angles. But yeah, that was it. That was their trick play. So we shouldn't see one for another couple of years, I guess. Let's see, man. It's just, Sean, I agree with a lot of things you're saying here. We play like we're up, we're down. It's been a grind. I mean, I feel like in the NFL in general, like I watched the Chiefs and the Dolphins game, these defenses, I don't know. I'm going to have to look it up. It feels like scoring is down to me.
It definitely is.
And I feel like defenses have adjusted. They're all playing bend but don't break. Don't give up those big plays. Make the teams earn everything they get. And at some point in time, they're going to make a mistake. And does it feel that way to you?
Yeah, I think I heard a stat last week. It's like the least amount of touchdowns scored through, 8 weeks of a season since like 2010. So yeah, I think you are accurate with that. I mean, it doesn't just feel that way. It legit is. Like the touchdowns have been down and like the numbers, I think yard wise are still there, but the touchdowns are just not there because like you said, all these defenses are playing that bend don't break. And that's been the case all year, and then when you make it a shorter field like that, it gives you less options, and these teams, they buckle down, and that's when they're at their best, so it's been a really weird year. I don't know. Yeah.
5-4, Jake. 5-4.
It hurts.
And guess what? I mean, like somebody said earlier, the Jets now are loving this. If they win tomorrow, I mean, they're technically ahead of us. If they were to catch up number of games and they win those games, we're in third place.
Right.
So it's like I can't even. I can't even be optimistic at this point in time. Honestly, I mean, are they out of it? I'll never say they're out of it. But even if they were somehow to make the playoffs, if things don't get turned around, we're not going far again. We're not going far. If you cannot beat the Bengals now in 9 quarters, they have whooped your butt. And we know what happens against the Chiefs in the playoffs. Look at the freaking Ravens. They look like world beaters right now.
Yeah.
So it's extremely difficult right now to be a Bills fan.
The Bengals have been, they looked like the dominant team too. There was never a moment where I even felt like the Bills were in control of the game. There was never any of that, we are so far behind the Bengals and the Chiefs. And I'd even argue the Dolphins right now, just based on how we've been playing. Offensively for sure. This is not the same team that it was when we played Miami.
No.
I'm not sure what happened to that team, but the offense has been the healthy part of this team. So you can't even argue that, a guy went down with an injury. No, not the case at all. It's crazy.
Yeah, I mean, we're minus a few, we're minus plenty of players on the defensive side, but we've been. If you were to tell me that we'd have no serious offensive injuries through 9 games, I'd be like, we're 7-2. I'd say we're
Yeah.
7-2, and here we are at 5-4. We freaking lost to the Patriots. So Jake, I don't know. I don't know what to say anymore. I don't. I can't be.
We've said I don't know. You can
I
make a drinking game out of the amount of times we've said I
man,
don't know this show.
I can't even be optimistic anymore. Usually, you
Yeah.
and I are like every week. They break our heart. I mean, even against the Buccaneers, we were a freaking, Hail Mary away from losing that one. We let a team right back in it, and
I'll give you some good news. So today I was at a stag, believe it or not, another stag earlier on in the day, which is kind of weird for a Sunday, but my buddy wanted to get one in. So it was his roommate, and they're good friends and stuff. And he's like, I had to throw him a stag. We were going to do it on a Saturday, but he had stuff going on every Saturday. So they did it today. It was at a bar. Awesome place. JP's Checkers. Shout out to them. They're in the North Towns, and we were out there, me and Matt, who has been on the show a few times, just in the comment section, I be trolling. And we put in for a silent auction for Buffalo Bills Monday night tickets for next week's game against the Broncos. And guess who won those tickets? Right here, baby.
Nice.
We're 14 rows behind the Buffalo Bills bench on like the 35-yard line, I believe. So pretty damn good seats. And I'll say this, I am 2-0 attending Bills games this year. So maybe foreshadowing, maybe we just get a win on Monday night. And you're looking at the schedule thinking maybe the next couple of games they're get right games, but I don't feel that way about any of these games. The only way I feel that way is just because I'm undefeated at home so far. Going to Bills.
I mean, when you see the Broncos beat the Chiefs, and then you see the Patriots beat us, and again, the bigger surprise to me, looking at the season overall, was that Denver Bronco win over the Chiefs. You look at the Bills now, you're like, all right, maybe I'm not so surprised that the freaking Patriots beat us. But when you look at the Patriots and you see the struggles they have, I cannot figure that one out. Look, Jake, I kind of planned in the back of my mind we might lose this game. We said it at the beginning of the season. I know both of you and I predicted in our pregame show, we'll win this. But that was wishful thinking. If we would have stuck to what we had said earlier in the year, we would have had that as a loss. But I expected fully to beat the Patriots, and if we did, we'd be what, 6-3 right now, and we'd have the Broncos next week. But now, who knows? Every week is a mystery, and at this point in time, again, I'm not hanging it up. But how disappointing is it, Jake? Every week, it's just like you wait. I mean, as a Bills fan, I've been a Bills fan a very long time, but I don't know what it is when it's a team that's in a supposed Super Bowl window, and you could probably say that window's closing real fast. But when a team is supposed to be good, very good. I mean, you look back now and you're like, this team is better than last year. I think they are. They have all the offensive line is. They have Dalton Kincaid, who's playing every bit as much as we want him to and playing as well as we want him to. And yet here we are at 5-4, and every week it seems like we get out of the gate slow. And it's going to be a real. Do you think? Is it for you? Is it got to be win the AFC East or not making the playoffs?
No, I don't think so. I think you gotta get to at least 11 or 12 wins, though. You have to, otherwise you're screwed. I think 11-6, you're even pushing, because the AFC this year is strong. Record-wise, they're very strong. The AFC North, each team in that division has 5 wins right now, Mike. So it's I mean, they may have 4 teams make the playoffs. It might be the first time in NFL history that it happens. So yeah. And I again, it's like you look at the schedule and it's like, oh, the Broncos, oh, the Jets, those should be must-win games and we should win those handily. But it's just not the case with this team, and I don't know. And you go back to 2021, right? When we were down, we're 7-6, I think it was at one point. And then we
It's
go
true.
and win out.
That's true.
I think the problem is though, and I'm sure we sort of felt similar back then, in 2021 when we were really first doing this show, right?
Yeah.
We had lost to the
I remember
Jags, and
that well.
that was the lows of lows, right?
Yeah.
And then we lose to the Buccaneers, but that was like our turnaround game. Maybe this was the turnaround game. Maybe. The problem is there's no moral victories either. Like, it'd be different if we were losing games and our offense was putting up numbers and it was just again, like I said, if our defense was letting up, 30 to 40 points and the offense was putting up numbers and, at least we could hang our hats and say, hey, you know what? The offense is balling out. The defense, they're banged up right now. If we could just put up points like we're doing, we'll have a chance. But we're not even doing that. And there's, like I said, you can't even take away those positives from these games. It's the fashion that we've lost games this year. It's just been so incredibly frustrating and deflating. And even our wins as of late too, they haven't been dominant at all.
Yeah, it's like Sean said, 11-6 with 4 conference losses isn't a guarantee. And if the season was to end this week, Buffalo's not making the playoffs.
Yeah.
We're not making the playoffs because of those AFC losses. So again, you're right. I mean, you do bring up a good point. I remember when it was 7-6 2 years ago, and that ended up being the 13-second game, right, that year. And I mean, we win that game. We take on Cincinnati again in the AFC Championship game. Probably our best opportunity to get to that Super Bowl and win one. But yeah, so for me, I mean, getting in as a wild card is going to be, what's crazy is that even the freaking Raiders are 4-5.
Yeah.
They're 4-5, and we whoop them. The Chargers are 3-4. They have a big game against the Jets, and that's going to be a pretty good game. I'm telling you what, the Chargers can put up numbers. I don't know. I guess I favor the Chargers in that game against the Jets. I don't think they can.
Yeah, I do too.
I don't think they can continue to sustain by winning with only scoring 10, 13 points a game. I just don't think it's possible. And Herbert and gang are pretty damn good. But you got the friggin' Steelers 5-3. You got the Browns 5-3. You now have the Bengals at 5-3. We're not in the playoffs. So to me,
we're not in the playoffs.
To me, well, the best opportunity is to win your division. That's always been that's the only guarantee you have.
Right.
And which means we're still a game behind the Dolphins. The Jets are really technically ahead of us. If they catch up in number of games, they're ahead of us, especially if they win tomorrow. And now we're chasing people. And now we're having the hope that other people lose games. We still play the Dolphins. We still play the Jets. So you have some control. But you have to beat the teams that, like, the Dolphins lost to the Eagles. You have to beat the Eagles. The Jets beat the Eagles. There's no easy path there, man. There is no easy path.
Nope. I think it hurts more, too, because the Dolphins lost early on in the day. And it's like, oh, man, this is going to be great. How good are we going to be feeling, And
yeah, second time now we've had an opportunity to take over first place. They lost a couple of weeks ago, and I think it was it the Patriot game? We win that game, Patriots. We're in first. We lost that game, Jake.
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean,
horrible.
Yeah. Could you fire someone? Maybe. I don't know. But I mean, the season isn't over until you're eliminated. It's never over. And the fact that you brought up that 7-6 gives me a little bit of hope. But that schedule wasn't as tough as we have this year.
Yeah.
I mean, all the easier part of our schedule was early, these first 9 games. And you got next week against the Broncos. But hell, I don't even know if that's easy anymore. A few weeks ago, I'd have said that's a guaranteed win. I don't know anymore. So I've said I don't know about 100 times tonight. I really don't know what
struggling this post game. I am right there with you, Mike.
Yeah. Yes. I mean, the chat's been quiet. I did see some of the other shows. They go off at the same time. So I figured we wouldn't get a lot of traction, but it's okay.
I feel like people are so just disgusted and like emotionally distraught right now. And a lot of people probably don't even want to listen to post-game shows. And I'm sure Buffalonians always go back and they put themselves through this misery. And it's like, we love it and we hate it at the same time. It's such like an abusive relationship, you know? But that's what makes us, the diehards that we are. That's who we are, Mike,
Yeah,
We
no,
love
I
this
know.
team.
I mean, like you said, 7-6 a couple years ago. What has to happen is we obviously this is obvious. We have to start winning. We have to take care of our division games. Got to win those 100%. And because we play the Patriots too, so we play everyone in our division one more time.
Yep.
Unfortunately, who knows? I mean, maybe the Dolphins, if we keep it up, may not even have to win that game against us. And at the end of the year, and you and I thought that might be for the division, but again, we're one game back of them. So who knows? Got to turn things around fast. I don't know how that's going to happen. I'm not very optimistic about it. You heard it on the broadcast. We're 47% chance of winning. Don't like those odds. I'm sorry, 47% chance of making the playoffs. I don't know about you. I don't like those odds one bit.
I hate it. We're under 50%, But I've never been I like numbers, but I'm not a nerd. I'm a football nerd, but I'm not a nerd. You know what I mean? So I'm just going to block all that out. Focus one game at a time.
One game
at a time. Hey, it starts Monday night, and guess who's going to be in attendance? I am. I am undefeated at home right now. We're going to go in Monday night, and we're going to kick some ass because it's time. And if we don't, then maybe it's time to mail it in.
If you lose to the Broncos on Monday night, you mail it in.
Yeah.
Season's over because there's just too many good teams. I mean, look at the Texans. Just see what CJ Stroud did today.
Gosh. Dude. And you know what? That's against that same Buccaneers team that we played last week. A rookie quarterback threw for 470 and 5 touchdowns, and we couldn't do that?
Dude, what? And he got the ball back with like a minute, a little over a minute, or right around there. They're down. I don't think they had any timeouts. He takes them down and scores a winning touchdown. It was incredible. Yeah. I had him on my fantasy team, so that's a positive.
Oh, yeah.
Wow. And the Jaguars right now, Texans, 6-2. It's the Colts are 4. I mean, dude, there's not like the worst team in the AFC are the Patriots. They're 2-7.
Yeah.
You got a bunch of teams with 3 wins. A bunch of teams with 5 wins. You got the Jaguars with 6. You got the Ravens with 7. You got the Chiefs with 7. You got the Dolphins with 6. So
it's so close this year. I think that's, another thing you could take away is like, even the quote unquote dominant teams, sure, the Ravens are 7-2. They've looked good the last few weeks, and I think they've played pretty good football. But like even Lamar, he's on and off too. He hasn't always looked like he looks super elite at times, and then other times he doesn't look like he's all there. It's weird. It's really bizarre this year. And even Pat Mahomes, same deal with him too. Like today, they had a 21-point lead. They almost blew that. And, I think it's a very, very close conference this year. But that just means that there's less room for error too. So Bill's got to figure it out. And it starts with that offense.
Yeah, teams have caught up, man. Teams have caught up.
Yeah.
We're in that Super Bowl window. We were in that Super Bowl window, but man, when you look at these, the parity there is definitely
crazy.
Yeah. So, folks, I think that's about it. I mean, Jake, fire the coaching staff. Let's start fresh and see what we can get done next week. See if we can turn this around.
I'm actually going in.
If I'm McDermott, I'm lighting a fire under my offensive coordinator, and I'm lighting a fire like literally. I mean, they were talking to him. Was it before half or right after half? He's like, "We're not playing complimentary football. I'm getting no help from my offensive side of things," and he's got to be chewing someone out. But
what's wild though is like Ken Dorsey had alluded to the fact that he consults with Sean McDermott a little bit about how he should run the offense. So is it really all Ken Dorsey, or does Sean McDermott have more of a say than we even think, even though he's technically the DC and, the head coach?
I don't know. I mean, I don't know. If you're a defensive guy, you're probably going to have a running scheme, and we don't run the ball very well. At least not tonight. We didn't. So I don't know. I don't think that's the case, Jake. I put that on the offensive coordinator. I put it on Josh. And again, I'm not putting this all on Dorsey. He doesn't throw that interception. Josh doesn't throw that interception, and we go down and we match their score. Different game.
Yeah, feels a lot different.
That fluke, I'm going to call it a fluke. The fumble by Kincaid. That doesn't happen. We're driving. We're close to scoring. Kind of a fluke play, but I told you in the pregame, whoever wins the turnover battle, and we lost 2-0. So
yeah.
I don't know what else to say. Let's see. Thank guys. Enjoy the show. Wumpdaki, I am sorry. This is not a good show for us. I feel like Jake and I are going to talk afterwards. We're going to be like, what the hell do you say? Right. And again, all you can say is, as always, go Bills. You keep coming back for more. You keep supporting this team. And one day, I've said it many times. I mean, how many times have I been brokenhearted with this team? Way more than I should have been. But I keep coming back for more. I keep believing. And one day I do believe that it will happen. And I hope I'm alive to see it. And all you got to do is get hot at the end of the year, Jake. Get the team, get chemistry going. Would you rather start hot like we did last year and we fizzled out at the towards the end of the year, or get it right and get hot when it counts? And that can happen as well. And I got to say, both the game with the Cowboys and the Eagles, what a game today. Holy crap.
Yeah, that was wild.
That was incredible. They're both, I think we played Dallas at home, play the Eagles away.
Yep.
Right? You're going to the Eagle game, right?
I will be in Philly, and I'll tell you what, after today's performance, yikes. That's going to be tough.
Extremely tough. I thought they were looking beatable, but
they seem to iron those out, the kinks, real quick. That's the difference between a good team and a subpar team. That's the unfortunate reality
great
of
players on both sides of the ball.
Yeah.
Great players on both sides of the ball. I mean, Jalen Hurts, though, he's getting a little dinged up himself, being a running quarterback. He's getting a little dinged up. And my goodness, freaking, I can't get over the Texans. I mean,
yeah, they and you look at what the Texans did against the Buccaneers. You look at what these other teams have done. The Raiders, what they did against the Giants. Teams that the Bills recently played and couldn't muster an offensive series. Just like, it's so puzzling to me. How do these other teams figure it out? And these other teams don't have a guy like Josh Allen as their quarterback. It's like, and I love CJ Stroud. I think he's going to be a very good player in this league. He's already competing for the best Ohio State quarterback to ever come out of that school, which is wild because Ohio State, for whatever reason, just doesn't seem to produce these really good NFL quarterbacks. I think the Texans have found their guy in him, but I mean, come on. We have Josh Allen, an elite top 3 quarterback in this league, but we can't score more than 18 points, 14 points against the Giants, 24 points against the Buccaneers, and the Texans went out today and scored 39 on them. It just doesn't make sense to me. Yeah.
So, someone needs to get a fire lit under their asses. I'm swearing. I mean, I don't even say the word. Even that word's hard for me to say.
Yeah.
But it is, look, you have two options. Let's just lay it out there. You have two options as a Bills fan. You pack it in, and I don't want to hear another word from you. Complain all you want. If this team comes back, you jumped off the bandwagon. That's your option. You're going to do that. Jump off, and I don't want to hear from you again. If you're going to continue to believe in this team like Jake and I do, you need to continue to support them and hope they turn it around. We're not eliminated. We're not out of the playoffs. You get into the playoffs, and you never know what's going to happen. So those are your options, Jake. Is there anything else? I mean, you can jump off the bandwagon, but pretend, don't tell anyone. And then when they start winning again, you're like, oh yeah, Bills, I've been supporting them the whole year. Those are your two options. What are you doing, Jake?
I'm staying. I'm not abandoning ship. By the way, our losses, Mike, trying to spin some positivity here. They all have been by only one score. Even so, even with how abysmal our offense has been, it's only been a 1-score loss in each of these losses.
It's crazy.
I know it probably doesn't make it any better, but it's the fact of the matter.
We're not getting blown out. And last year we won a lot. What? we won a lot of one-score games, and those games go the other way. We don't have a 13-3 record, so unfortunately, those games are going the other way so far this year. But it all comes down to getting out of the gates quickly. You called it. You've been saying it. We've all been saying it, and it looked like we were there. Come out of the gate strong. We knew we were going to have to score against this team. We couldn't put up another 10-point game like we did in the playoffs. So they score, we score, they score, and then we don't score. And then at that point,
60 minutes. It's a 60-minute game.
Yeah.
And again, you can't wait until 10 minutes left in the game to start putting together all the pieces. And then on top of that, you got to have a little more urgency. And there wasn't a whole lot of that either. So I don't know, Mike. I don't know. We should just title this. I don't know.
Yeah, you know what? I might change the title.
Bill's Postgame.
Sure.
I don't know.
I'd love to hear from the channel. For those of you that rewatch this, I know it's late on the East Coast, and I know you've probably were watching some of the other, because everyone goes live after the show or after the game. There's a lot of big channels out there. But if you happen to watch us, I want to know what your thoughts are. I want to know, are you jumping off the bandwagon? I hope not. And I know 95% of Bills Mafia will never jump off the bandwagon. And I hope those other 5% decide not to, because it's never over until it's over. I mean, sounds cliche, but it's true. It's never over till it's over. And like Jake just said, 7-6 a couple years ago. And I know that schedule was easier. Yes, I know, but it can happen. It can happen. Being realistic and jumping off. No, if you're going to jump off, Sean,
you know you're not jumping off.
I know he's not jumping off.
I know you're upset and frustrated right now, but we're never leaving. I mean,
being realistic. Yes,
we don't
realistic is we have a 47% chance of making the playoffs. I'm not giving up on that.
Yeah.
47%. It's better than 5%, 10%. There's a lot of worse odds than that. And I get it. We can't keep doing this. I hear you, man. We can't.
We can't keep doing it.
You do this again.
That's why they're turning it around.
Yeah, you lose against the Broncos, you're done. So I've hit the panic button. I don't have a panic button on my soundboard. We heard from The Rock earlier. Got our candy asses handed to us. So anyhow, Jake, that's kind of it. Let's close it out. Again, we don't have much going on in the channel, and I think we've said everything we've had to say. So you have your options, Bills Mafia. I know what most of you are going to be. You're going to stick with this team. You're going to still support them, and you're going to still see some things surprise you. You'll have some things surprise you. So stick with them. I've seen this enough times. Jake, we didn't even get to talk about wings or Logan Berry or Dollar Drinks.
I know. I know it.
Doesn't even seem like worthy.
I'll be going to Barbell in a couple weeks. So I'm looking forward to that too. So listen, another week, 24-hour rule. Be upset about this one for a little bit.
Sean says we got to go 6-2. If we don't, we are out. 6.
Let's run the table, baby. Let's run the table.
Whew. I don't know. I would like to hear from the channel. You firing anyone? What's your thoughts? Let us know. Love to hear it. It's easy to play coach on the couch. It's easy to play coach after the fact. It's easy. Tell us what you think. But it was surprising, like with the Raiders firing their head coach and they come out. What was that all about?
Oh, yeah. 30-6. And how about Antonio Pierce getting the win against his former team, too? I mean, that's got to be a sweet moment for him. They were all smoking cigars after the game, too. Some emotion. I think that's what we want to see, too. Just a little more emotion out of these guys. Because it just seems like the only one that seems to show any emotion is Steph Diggs. I want to see Josh Allen go over and light a fire under his players a little bit. Where is the Josh Allen from that 13-second game that was out there screaming and hollering? And I know, maybe that's not him. And I think he's tried to take a step back and try to compose himself more, but it doesn't seem to be working. So maybe we change that up a little bit too. I don't know.
Yeah, Dad, what are you doing up so late? It's a little late out there. It's a little late out for you. 10 o'clock.
Bill,
my dad's coming off of a 24-hour marathon for his charity. Extra Life is the name of it.
Wow.
I put a link in our Discord. It's still not too late to donate. But he raises, this is his 6th year now hosting this, and you do a 24-hour marathon. It started yesterday. Saturday, and I think it ended at 11 a.m. this morning. So they raised, I think, close to $1,900 of their $2,500 goal.
Wow.
Fantastic organization. You play games, and it goes to, you get to choose what hospital that the money goes to. So they raise a lot of money, and it's fantastic. I'll put the link in the description of this video for those that would like to donate. Like $5, $10, anything helps. And we'll be doing a charity event in the near future too, Jake. Looks like the Pump Foundation has reached out to me again. I kind of missed their email the first time, so we're going to talk to them. We've already been talking in our Discord with some of the folks. It seems like we got a lot of the folks from last year ready to go, and got some new folks now. And we got a little bit bigger channel, so we might be. I'm hoping to put that together soon, so we can get that.
Hell
going.
Yeah, I love that.
So, Dad, I don't know. There's people calling for Dorsey's head today. If you look at, you talk to Sean, he believes like it's more Josh than Dorsey. But one thing, it's a blend of both. It's a blend of both. So, anyhow, Jake, let's get out of here, man. Let's go.
Sounds good.
Go Bills.
Go Bills.
See you soon.
Go Bills.
Take care, guys. Go Sabres.
Go Sabres.
All right,
Go
bye-bye.
Sabres.